in the main arena. Trains departing Hayden Street Station for Wootton and the new Smallbrook Junction station throughout the day, right through until around about 6 o'clock this evening. So you're very welcome to take a ride, a 10-mile round trip on the Isle of Wight Steam Railway. Arena events, the highlight of our steam extravaganzas. Noisy individuals that they are, we're in for a fun programme over the next couple of hours, which is going to include a grand parade of all of our steam vehicles here. And then we'll be following that up with some of our steam extravaganzas, very silly traction engine games, when we're actually asking some of you to come and help us play. We're going to be playing musical traction engines. There's going to be a tug of war, a barrel race, a beer race and a slow race as well. We're actually going to be putting some of these traction engines through their paces, and in some of the games, as I said, we'll be wanting your help. Well, we start off our steam events with sights and smell of these steam vehicles as they manoeuvre around the arena. The first one in the arena is number 1 on your programmes, which is an Olkin 5 horsepower general purpose engine named Hayden Street Queen. Been to every single one of our steam extravaganzas here at Hayden Street since we started them in 1975. This particular engine was built in 1905 for a Kent farmer and was used by him on the family farm till after the Second World War. It was then made redundant and put out of use in the farm barn, but during the 1950s the engine was rallied at various events by the farmer. In 1961 it was brought to the Isle of Wight and purchased by Mr. Fred Winter of Hayden Street for just £275. In 1980 the engine was fitted with a new firebox and boiler tubes and has been extensively rallied. A regular favourite here at Hayden Street lives about 400 yards away up in the village, now owned by Roy Winter from the village here at Hayden Street. Very nice to see it back again. That's number 1, the Hayden Street Queen. Incidentally, for those of you who haven't got programmes, they are available over by the main entrance to Hayden Street Station. Souvenir programmes on sale there. Our next vehicle coming into the arena shows you that traction engines come in all shapes and sizes. This is number 183, built in 1920. It's a Wallace & Stevens tractor roller convertible, which means it can either exist in the form it's in now as a traction engine, or it can have rolling wheels fitted to it and act as a steamroller. Built in 1920, it was originally supplied new to Ball's Contractors of Oakfield here on the island. It's now owned by the Norman Ball Transport Collection from Ryde. That's number 183, the Wallace & Stevens tractor roller convertible, built in 1920. Thank you. Well, we've had a red engine, a black engine, now there's a green one, number 2 coming in, named Elizabeth. This is an Aveling & Porter 6 horsepower general purpose engine. After a busy working life on a farm in the Lincolnshire area, it was acquired by the present owner in 1978. Restorations took place between 78 and 1982, which included a new firebox and boiler barrel repairs. It's also fitted with rubber tyres for road use. That's the Aveling & Porter 6 horsepower general purpose engine named Elizabeth, owned by John Attrell from Yafford in the West Wight. Cultural engine, that means that it was employed exclusively for farm work. The big flywheels you can see had a drive belt fitted to them, which was used for driving threshing machines or harvesting machines or stone crushers or saw benches, all that sort of thing. So during the early part of this century, these sort of vehicles seen extensively around the farms of the country. Well, number 3, just coming into the arena, is an agricultural engine. It's a Burrell 7 horsepower agricultural engine named Rusty Rose. It was bought by its present owner in a very derelict condition, and it's been extensively rebuilt while in his ownership. Unfortunately, not a lot is known of this engine's history.
But Den Phillips from Brook on the island, who's up there driving it today, he's the owner, and thank you. And he's also got a thrashing machine, which he sometimes employs this engine for. So it can still be used for agricultural purposes. That's number 3, the Burrell 7 horsepower agricultural engine, Rusty Rose. Purpose engines, now we've got a showman's engine. The steam vehicles were also once upon a time used for hauling fairground rides. These days, of course, they use great big lorries and things. Once upon a time they used engines like this next one. Obviously decorated very nicely. These engines would all be fun fairground rides from venue to venue. And then they would park up next to the fairground ride and actually generate the electricity. There's stuck up on the front of the engine, that sort of rather odd looking pump, is actually an electrical generator which is powered off the flywheel, again using a drive belt. It would generate the electrical power to drive the various fairground rides. And in fact, today the gallopers we have over there in the refreshment tent will be driven later on this afternoon by one of these showman's engines generating the electrical power. Well, number 4 is a Garrett 4 horsepower showman's tractor named Enterprise, built in 1917 and used during its working life by an East Anglian showman. He's now owned by the Norman Bull Transport Collection from Ryde here on the island. Nice to see it back again at Hayden Street this weekend. Here comes another convertible. You heard me refer to number 183 as a convertible. Well, the next one in, number 182, is also a convertible, a tractor steamroller convertible. It's a Fowler D2. This is the oldest engine on site today, excluding the railway engines, of course, which are even older. This one was built in 1897, owned by the Norman Bull Transport Collection from Ryde. It's built as a traction engine and roller, and just to remind you, that means that the wheels on it, as you can see at the moment, can be taken off and it can be fitted with rollers and converted to a steamroller. That's number 182, the Fowler D2 tractor roller. Just coming into the arena. That's number 11 on your programmes, which is a Wallace & Stevens 8-ton roller, built in 1923, first registered in Middlesex. It's owned by Shane Arnold from Newport on the Isle of Wight, and some of Shane's older relations were show people themselves and often used to be involved with steam vehicles, but more of the showman's type engines. They used to have the island's very own funfair, which they used to take from place to place around the island. There's a Marshall 6 horsepower general purpose engine named Faithful. Built in 1909 and supplied new to Barnsley Farm in Ryde following an exhibition at the Reading Agricultural Show in 1909. After a busy working life on the farm, it was acquired in 1961 in a derelict condition in which it stood for 17 years. The frequent visitor to Haven Street, now owned by Bob Stay from Stag Lane Motors in Newport, and driven today by Bob Stacey. This particular engine has never ever been off the Isle of Wight since arriving here in 1909. The Marshall 6 horsepower general purpose engine named Faithful. Well, as you can tell by the descriptions I've been giving, most of these engines are very, very old. This next one looks as though it could be as old as the rest of them, but actually it's only about 4 or 5 years old. Number 13, just coming into the arena, sometimes known as Hamster, sometimes known as Our Baby. It's a Foreman 3 horsepower tractor, which is a full-scale replica built by its owner to the 1895 Wallace & Stevens lorry. Completed in 1986 or 87, owned by Ken Foreman from Southampton. In comes the next of our steam rollers. This one is named Clausentum. Bit of an odd name, but that's actually the Roman name for the city of Southampton, because that's where this engine spent most of its working life. It was originally supplied new to Southampton Corporation in 1921. It was employed on road making and road rolling duties. One point of notoriety was in the 1930s. Whilst under some road making duties, it once ran away out of control, running backwards down a hill and smashed into the local public baths. So since the owner is Ken Honeybun from Sway in Hampshire. That's the Wallace and Stevens road roller named at Clausentum. Most of these steam engines are big brutes. Have a very appropriate name for the next roller. Brutus is its name. They can give these engines odd names, don't they? This is a Babcock and Wilcox road roller, built in the 1920s. Built in 1926 for Buncombe's of Highbridge in Somerset, a road making company, general contractors, and they used it for duties until 1961. Since then it's been in preservation, undergoing restoration and repair, and is a regular performer at rallies throughout the south of England. The Babcock and Wilcox road roller, named the Brutus, owned by Alan Sloper and Andy Selwood from Cadnam in Hampshire. Weeks after the end of the First World War. As the military no longer wanted it, it was retained by the makers as a yard engine, and then it was sent to the Isle of Man. It was converted to a road roller in the early 1930s, but restored to its present form in the 1960s. After a busy working life, it was acquired for preservation in the 1970s and bought by the present owner in 1980, and it's undergone a complete rebuild in the last couple of years. That's the small black engine just coming along the bottom side of the arena, a Ruston and Proctor Lincoln steam tractor named Lucifer, owned by Mrs. J. Inge from Hampshire. Well, here we go, from the sublime to the ridiculous. Here's a nice little tiddler. The first of our small engines coming in. Very nice to see them here this weekend. Number 19. Just coming in along the bottom side of the arena. There's a 3-inch scale model barrel traction engine built over a period of 4.5 years. Capable of pulling about 6 passengers. There's a driver and 1 passenger on there today, so taking it easy today, I think. The engine has a copper boiler, it's coal-fired, and steams at £90 per square inch. That's number 19, just coming along the bottom side of the arena. A model barrel traction engine owned by Bill Edwards from Portsmouth. Well, our next tiddly little engine just coming in. As I said, number 19 has only just recently been built, and a lot of people think this next one is a model, but actually it's one of the oldest traction engines with us this weekend. Built in 1903. It's a freelance traction engine, often mistaken for a model, but it was built in 1903 as a working engine employed for general haulage duties for engineering works in Birmingham. The largest load hauled was a 28-foot Southern Railway guards van, hauled across a meadow on planks using cast iron pipes as rollers. So it really did do things like that, which you see in all the old films. That's number 10, a freelance traction engine owned by D&P Warwick from Borough Green in Kent. Next in, number 20, a 4-inch scale model of a Foster traction engine, built by the owner a couple of years ago. Took 2,000 hours of work to complete, and this model weighs half a ton. Owned by D. Porter from New Milton in Hampshire. Just coming along the bottom side of the arena, number 20. The fourth of our tiddly little engines coming in now. is number 17, which is a third full-scale model Fowler road locomotive, Class B6. This one is named Norman E. Box. The details and dimensions for this model were taken from existing Fowler drawings and prototypes, often seen around the rally fields of the south of England. That's number 17, coming along, three passengers, or a driver and two passengers rather, the full-scale model Fowler road locomotive, owned and driven by Alan Wight from Sir Miss Newton in Dorset. Just while the last of our steam vehicles come round to manoeuvre, stolen and now restored to magnificent condition. That's number 12 Renown, which is currently over by the organ for our third annual steam extravaganza. In a few moments' time we'll be allowing you to go into the arena to take a closer look at them. But enginemen, how about a whistle up to let us know you're all there? Let's have a whistle up from all the traction engines down here at Haven Street today.
Please make sure the youngsters don't stray forward. If you have any pets with you, if you have any dogs with you, they must be kept strictly on a lead. So as you can see, there are 1 or 2 steam engines manoeuvring around in 1963. Next in is number 26, which is a 1953 Austin K9 4x4. Originally served with the Army, then the RAF until around 1964, when it was sold to an island garage owner. It was used as a breakdown truck until 1982, bought by the present owner in 1985, took 2 years to restore to its present condition. It's owned by Jed Jackson from Freshwater here on the island. Coven Street, massive 1951 Scammell 6x6 recovery tractor. Named Island Explorer, originally built for use by his partner ME, sold by the military in 1970 to a manufacturing firm of amusement caterers. The Island Explorer weighs a massive 12 tons and has a top speed of 38 horsepower and a 6-speed gearbox driven by, wait for it, a 10.5 litre petrol engine. It was bought by the present owners in 1984 and is a regular visitor to our show. It's owned by Nick Chandler, T. Callaway and C. Cook from Yarmouth. Coming to the arena now is number 25, built during the Second World War. It's a 1943 Seddon CL Brewers dray. The vehicle is fitted with a Perkins P6 diesel engine and a 4-speed Comac gearbox. It was originally supplied new to the former Island Brewers Mew Langton & Co. in 1943. After life in the Royal Brewery in Newport, it was bought in the mid-60s by a local farmer for bale carting. It then went to the present owner in the 1970s. They put it back on the road in 1977. Now owned by Rue Giles and Bob Huxtable from Ryde. Number 166, a Rio GE coach, built before the last war in 1931. The chassis and mechanics of this coach are by the Rio Motors of the USA, the coach worked by Taylor of Norwich. It was used in Cromer in East Anglia for touring for many years. The present owner has fully restored this vehicle to its former magnificence and it's been extensively rallied over the past few years. It's owned by John Golding from Wellow near Yarmouth here on the island. Next in is an AEC Routemaster bus, built in 1960. The bus is typical of the classic London bus, which entered service on the 1st of July 1960, and it's the Shepherd's Bush garage. In the period to March 1985, it was based at 5 different London locations. There's the AEC Routemaster bus, built in 1960, now owned by David Good from Croydon in Surrey. Avenger TS3 Duple coach. New to Don Everall Coaches of Birmingham and purchased for preservation in 1988, sold by Derek Hunt from Dods Hill here on the island.
in is a Guy GS, single-decker bus built in 1953, owned by Sussex Bus Limited, Mr. John Belson, from Chichester in West Sussex. Started work in October 1953 at the Chelsham Garage of London Transport's country bus network, moving to Leatherhead in February 1959, Hertford in February 65, and Grays in 1968. 2 years to the present standard. Now operational again on city tours around West Sussex. Next in is a 1951 AEC Regal 4 coach. One of the first of London Transport's fleet of Green Line coaches to be modernised in the mid-1960s. Still licensed and in regular service, it's owned by Jim McNamara from Morden in Surrey. Then we have number 38, which is a 1958 Bristol NW coach. Originally new to the Eastern National Bus Company, which used it for summer tours and excursions. It was purchased for preservation in 1978. It's owned by John Pitt from Heston in Middlesex. Our next vehicle in is a 1966 Bedford TK fire appliance, which was originally supplied new to the Isle of Wight Fire Service and was based at Shanklin Station until disposal in the mid-1970s. It was then used by airline operators Dan Air at their Nasham airfield as a crash tender until it was purchased by the present owners Kevin and Pat Kitcher in 1987. Next in, another regular visitor to our steam extravaganzas here at Hayden Street. Number 33 is a 4x4 bikini unit. Now the name bikini's got nothing to do with the standard address of the driver, but that's what it's actually called because it was used by the Auxiliary Fire Service for the transportation and launching of inflatable dinghies. As you can see, it's got a strange sort of lifting contraption on the back of it. That was used for lifting the inflatable dinghies and launching them into inland waterways such as rivers, canals or lakes for rescue purposes. It's a 1956 Comma Q4 owned by Derek Bishop from Beckenham in Kent. Vehicle in the arena, number 187, is an AEC Duple Britannia, built in 1956. It was the 1956 Duple Motors exhibit at the Elscourt Commercial Motor Show. After the show, it came to the Isle of Wight to Shotter's coach firm from Lake here on the island for the 1957 season. Remained with them until they ceased trading in 1973. A well-known vehicle on the island, attended local rallies. After a brief spell on the island, it returned to the island, a brief spell on the mainland rather, returned to the island in March of this year, and it's back in passenger carrying service with its new owner, John Woodhams, from Ryde here on the island. It's an AEC Duple Britannia, built in 1956.